Welcome back to Project Auto, part 3 of this DIY for the Chrysler 300 head unit. We're picking up pretty much where we left off from last time, so we've just put the taillight back on. We've got all the wires coming through the back end. You can see that you can't see any visible wires from the bumper to the light or anything like that, so it's a clean install, just kind of like an OEM look that we're going for. Now up next, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to provide power to the camera when you put it into reverse. So in order to do this, we're actually going to tap into the reverse light. So as you can see here, there's a little multicolored wire, green and black, that we're going to tap into. So the wire that comes off of the camera, it's got a black cable and a red cable, and so black is going to be the ground and red is going to be the power. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically strip them a little bit, so we have some exposed wires, and then we're going to tie them together. Alright, so you can see here that I took the rubber insulation off from the red side, and we're also going to do the same to the black side as well. So the wire we're going to use to tap into the power cable is going to be a white cable with a very light green stripe. Keep in mind it's not the dark green one, it's the one with the light green, as you can see me pull to the side here. Alright, so now I've got both the black cable. Black's going to go with black, that's kind of self-explanatory, because black is always the ground. So what we're going to do is I've opened them up here kind of like a little loop, and I'm going to tuck the wire from the camera in between that loop, and we're basically going to just twist them around. Of course, there are several ways to do this, whatever you're most comfortable with, that'll do. But we're going to just go with this method. Here you can see I'm going to be taking the red power and wrapping it around the wires for the backup camera. I'm gonna push these kind of together here. The wires do a little kind of crimping thing almost, but you want to make sure that these connections are tight. You don't want them loose when you're going to be driving around, and it might have a connection, it might not. You don't want this, since this is going to be activated by the reverse camera, it's not really going to have that issue. But if you hook anything up differently, you always want to make sure that it's a proper connection that you make, because if it's sometimes touching and then sometimes it isn't, if you have like something that's constantly on, like DRLs for example, then you're going to have your lights flashing or something like that. So what we're going to end up doing is wrapping a little bit of electrical tape around these to make sure they're secure as well. You can see here I've just got some standard electrical tape you can pick up at a hardware store. You don't need that much. You're going to just be cutting small pieces, and basically you're going to replace the insulation that you cut off by wrapping it tightly, of course, around the wires that you just put together. As you can see here, we've wrapped it around tightly, so they're going to stay together, not become loose anytime soon. And like I said, the tape, it's also got to be on there tightly as well. Now we're going to do the same thing with the black cable. We're just going to put it in between the loop and just twist it around a couple times, and then we'll also cover that up with some electrical tape as well. Alright, so here's the final product. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look back at where we were working earlier with the taillight, and we're going to reconnect the harnesses that connect the taillight to the SAM. I'm going to make sure to have it all tucked in back there. And we're just going to pop these screws back on that hold the tail light and the outer fabric in place. Next up now we're going to move on to tucking the wire inside of the vehicle, and we're going to go through the back seats so you can kind of see the direction we're looking at going. First thing you're going to want to do is pull the seats forward, and there's a little loop strap at the very top of the seats, and you're just going to pull on that to pull them forward. And this will be our access point for guiding the wire through the front of the car. Now we're going to be using pretty much the entire length of this wire because the 300 is a big car. So you're going to want to make sure that you have it pulled tight, and because we're going to be going all the way. You don't want to have any slack because literally the distance is going to matter here. So we're going to kind of keep it a little neat. We don't want floating wires all over the place. You don't want to be throwing your shopping bags in there and getting anything caught up, pulling a wire or something and whipping wires everywhere. So we're going to come through the top here, kind of out of the way, out of sight, out of mind, and then we're going to go through the vehicle and pull it through the other side. Alright, so now we're going to come around through the back seats, and you can see we're going to pretty much pull the cable straight up through the ledge past the rear seats here, and we're going to kind of keep it away from the obstructions. You don't want where this clicking mechanism is here. We don't want it completely in the way of that, but we do want to have it once again tight, kind of out of the way. So I'm going to tuck it in between the leather bit here and the fabric. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire and we're going to go actually up and around. So we're going to bring it through up into the headliner here, and we're going to work our way all the way down to the front of the car, and then we're going to kind of go through the glove box area down to where the head unit actually is. So once we get that part sorted. We're going to close the seat here because we want to make sure nothing's going to be in the way. And now we're going to pretty much tuck in the wire along the insulation of the car. Now I'm going to cut it off here, guys. We've only got one more part after this, and then we're done. So stay tuned. We're going to have that out shortly, hopefully. And please like the video and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys next time.